This is James Smith, the creator of BioMemorize. We're continuing in the nervous system. I'm going to briefly cover some basics, but then I want to get to the memory trick so that you can remember what you need to remember. You'll notice that I have a cross-section of a spinal cord at the bottom of the screen, and if you are familiar with this, you'll immediately see the ventral roots here. And you'll see the dorsal roots here. This is gray matter because it's composed of cell bodies. The ventral root is the source of neurons that are motor neurons, which cause our muscles to contract. So from here, we have neurons that synapse with the muscles. Now if I cut this across here, this is ventral, meaning this is the front of the person. So that would correspond if I cut this in half. This is the front of the person here. This is the back. And in the picture on the bottom, this is the front. And this is the back. So sensory neurons come, let's say, touch, for example. We touch something. So we have a sensor sending a signal to the dorsal horn. Same thing. We have touch something. We send a signal in to the dorsal horn, where we have the synapsing of sensation. So sensation, the sensory nerves are synapsing on the back, the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. And the motor neurons are in the ventral horns, or the front of the spinal cord. This corresponds exactly with the anatomy up here in the brain, where you'll see this line dividing the sensory cortex here from the motor cortex up here. So you'll notice the motor cortex is in the front and the sensory cortex is in the back. And this is how you can remember the anatomy of the spinal cord and of the primary sensory cortex and the primary motor cortex, because they're both the same. The sensory nerves are coming into the back of the spinal cord, then they go up and they synapse eventually with the primary sensory cortex, which is behind the motor cortex. Then the motor cortex sends signals down through the spinal cord, which eventually synapse here in the ventral horn, and then they go out to the muscles to move. So if I drew a little man, the way I really remember this is the direction that we normally walk. We normally walk forward, this direction. But, it makes sense that you would kind of move forward based on something acting on you. So the sensory nerves come into the back, and then we can move forward. Motor nerves are in the front.